today's video is going to be a little different than the videos I usually do because I'm playing video games. Just kidding, this is only the background to my video, which is going to be all about the Shrek movies. And what better way to signify Shrek than with the most Shrek character in Mario, Wario. At least drifting still works like it's supposed to. So I'm ranking all of the Shrek movies from what I think is the worst to best. Now, when I say Shrek movies, I'm talking about all the Shrek movies, all the Shrek stuff. So you're getting not just Shrek 1 through 4, but that other weird stuff that you can find because DreamWorks loves a cash cow. My number 8 Shrek movie is Shrek the Third. Shrek the Third is just abysmal. Have you ever watched Shrek the Third? Took all the happiness of Shrek out of me. I was a big fan of Shrek until Shrek the Third. And I saw Shrek the Third and I cried a little bit inside, honestly. Shrek, oh Jesus. That big friendly ogre was everything I needed him to be. And yet, in Shrek the Third, he's gonna be a dad now? But ogres can't be dads. Being a dad, Shrek as a franchise is all about like accepting who you are, and Shrek 1 is about accepting that Shrek is beyond just an ogre and that ogres can have feelings, and Shrek 2 is about like accepting like what happens and wanting to truly be who you are. And even like Shrek 4, which I'll talk about later, even that's like, don't sell yourself short because life could be so much different without you in it. And then Shrek 3 is like, being a dad causes problems. And I don't know, it felt very un-Shrek of Shrek 3 to be just like, Shrek's gonna have a kid. Watch out. My number 7 Shrek film is the Shrek Swamp Stories. Now, if you've never heard of the Shrek Swamp Stories, I don't blame you. There really is no reason for them to be movies. It's one of those like, we're gonna sit around and tell stories shorts, but it's like Shrek, so it's weird and doesn't make a lot of sense. But like, there's no real point in them except for them to make something for, I don't know, it's probably for like Netflix or something to make money. And you'll see there's more of these Shrek, like, we exist just to make money episodes out there, and they're all just better, and you'll know why in a bit. Oh my god, I'm not doing well in this at all. That's it. They don't do much for me. They're just stories. They're just like, what if you put the Shrek characters in this situation? And I'm not a big fan of it. Number 6, along the same lines, is Shrek Spooky Stories. I just remember the Shrek spooky ones a lot more than the regular Shrek Swamp Stories because they're in like a castle. That's all I remember from the Shrek Swamp Stories. They're in a castle. That's it. That's pretty much it. And that's pretty much all there is to the Shrek Swamp Stories. From what I remember, it's just like spooky stories happen in the Shrek universe. And I'll just go right to my number 5 because it's in the same exact vein. It's Shrek the Halls, which is just another sort of similar idea. And I like Shrek the Halls more than those last two because it's a funny pun. Get it? Like that hit song Deck the Halls? You know the one. But it's for Shrek. So it's Shrek the Halls. How funny and original. Wow. The number 4 is Shrek the Musical. Now I like Shrek the Musical. It's, you know, it's one of the musicals in the history of Broadway just sort of taking a popular movie idea and making it a musical that you see a lot more these days. Like you see Mean Girls the musical is a big one, Frozen, Legally Blonde. It's another installment in the series of we turned a thing into a musical, but it's actually good because you wouldn't expect Shrek to be a musical, and they do it pretty well. The top 3. For number 3, I have Shrek. Good old classic Shrek. Now, I like Shrek. It was one of my favorite movies growing up. I think Shrek as a movie is inspiring for people who might not be of the best body type, like me, for example, if you're looking for an example for that. I also like Shrek just because it's Shrek. It's Mike Myers. It's got all the original jokes. You've got Lord Fuckwad. Aw, son of a bitch. It's got one of the most banging soundtracks of all time, and that's one of the reasons why Shrek is so high. But I think the other 2 movies on my list just hold a bigger place in my heart, and that's why Shrek isn't number 1. Now, number 2, the second to best Shrek movie in my eyes, is Shrek 4, The Final Chapter, Shrek Forever After, whatever you want to call it. Now, Shrek Forever After is a controversial movie. Not a lot of people like it. I've spent a lot of energy arguing with my friends about how much I like Shrek, The Final Chapter, and how much I think it's a good movie. But with all the problems that Shrek 3 has caused in the movie's doing of making Shrek's big thing be a father, Shrek 4 does a really good job at fixing all of those problems and puts an actually good end to the Shrek series in a way that Shrek the Third wasn't going to do. What I like about Shrek 4 is that if you take away the fact that it's a Shrek movie, it's a great standalone movie too. It's like just a good movie. But then you add the fact that it ends the Shrek universe in the way that it does, in such a good way, then you really have no argument there. And if you just watched the movie again and thought about it, maybe you'd change your mind. Because I bet a lot of people who say that they don't like Shrek 4 have never even seen the dang thing. It's fitting that I'm going to have to finish this video on Rainbow Road talking about my number 1. But my number 1 favorite Shrek movie, and what I think is the number 1 best Shrek movie of all time, is Shrek 2. Now, I bet a lot of you've seen this coming. Shrek 2 has a perfect storyline. Shrek 2 is all about Shrek trying to figure out himself and how he can fit in the lives of royalty that Fiona's family has obviously become in the land of far, far away. And Shrek has to deal with Fiona's parents not accepting the fact that Shrek and Fiona are both ogres because they spent all of their time trying to figure out how to contain Fiona's ogreness. So now Fiona just wants to be an ogre forever, and her parents don't like that. The reason I love Shrek 2 is that it's all about Shrek loving himself, which has been the storyline for the past couple of movies, but Shrek 2 really puts the emphasis on Shrek's self-love and how that has helped him in his journey in life, and how Shrek's self-love can't be stopped. Until, of course, he becomes a dad in Shrek 3, and then he has to hate himself because dads hate themselves. Who likes kids, right? Kids are stupid and dumb. I think Shrek 2 is one of the best animated movies ever made. Ignoring the Shrek series, just in terms of animated movies, Shrek 2 is one of the best that's ever been made. Anyway, so that is my ranking for Shrek movies, while I have oh so awfully played Mario Kart. Do you disagree with what I said? I bet you do. And if you do, don't be afraid to leave a comment. And you know what? If you think, hey, my grandma who loves Shrek movies would really like this new take on how the Shrek movies are ranked, then hit a subscribe, share this video. Don't forget to support your local content creators. Also, I'm on a podcast. If you want to listen to two 20-something-year-old college boys talk about nothing and have it be legally defined as a podcast, then look no further than the Specifically Devoid podcast. We try to release videos at a reasonable pace. Sometimes our editing isn't great, so we take longer on episodes. And we do a game show every other Friday. And this video will be released on, if I'm doing this right, this Friday. Actually, I'm doing way better than I thought I was going to. It's currently Monday at about 4:45. So if you're watching this, it's Tuesday. Wow, good job. At least that's the day this is getting released. Which means that you can check out our charity live stream over on the Specifically Devoid YouTube channel. We are doing a live stream. We might be playing some Jackbox games. We'll be donating money to the Trevor Project. All of your proceeds will have a donation link in there. All of your proceeds will go to the Trevor Project. We've set it up so that 100% of what you donate will go there instead of a certain chunk, because some websites like to do that. It will be really awesome if you check that out and enjoy our podcast. And I will see you next time on my channel. Goodbye.